Alright, let's kill this tier 2 design I've got here. I could either do the slow way of deleting all the blocks, or I can pull the pilot seat out, grab just a cube, put the pilot seat on there, and then grab a movement block of some type, one of these, and then go to practice mode. Yep, my entire bot's deleted. And now we're good to begin. So in this one we're actually going to build a basic tier 2 hovercraft, assuming that you've just unlocked hovers, and you should also be able to get, I think you've got tier 2 electroplates, so these electroplates as well. So we're going to build a relatively simple hovercraft using the hovers and electroplates, and all tier 2 armor of course. So hopefully this is the kind of stuff you're going to have available. For any hovercraft, the minimum number of hover blades you'll actually want to use will be 6. You can make effective designs using 3 or 4, but 6 gives you enough redundancy in terms of just, yeah, redundancy. Now what I'm going to do here, you'll notice this is different from the cruiser design, is that I'm going to make sure that my pilot seat actually has an extra layer of armor below it. So what I'm going to do here is make sure clone mode is on as well. Is have prisms on which the pilot seat is going to mount. Let's get the pilot seat here. And that means any damage that actually comes from these blocks from people underneath you, because you're a hovercraft, so people are going to go underneath you, will not immediately cause your pilot seat to get, or the blocks under your pilot seat to get damaged, because it's not your pilot seat that actually gets damaged. It's if you lose both of these blocks here, that's what kills you. So your pilot seat health is kind of the health of the blocks it's actually connected to. Anyway, so let's put one of these here. I'm also going to have these be prisms, so this entire tray section underneath it is not actually going to be connected directly to the seat. And we're going to do something like this. And that way, no, those are connected directly to the seat. That's not what I want to do. That's kind of a bad design. Sorry, I'm forgetting myself. This is what I want to do. I want to have those prisms there, these prisms here, so that again these blocks are connected from the outside, so the only real connection points are going to be these blocks here. And I'm going to change those into, well actually they're going to be prisms that are inverted like so, because we're not going to have connection points on the sides, and we're not going to have a connection point underneath, so there's no reason for us to actually have anything other than a prism. So we're going to connect onto the back and onto the top. And although in this case, for the front one, I'm literally just going to connect onto the top, so this can actually become a tetra. And now we will just grab, this is all about lightweight design for a hovercraft, by the way. We'll just grab some of these, and this is the basic shell around the pilot seat. And now let's put some hover blades on here. So here's some tier 2 hover blades. Now there's a few different ways you can actually mount these on here. I actually like to have a couple of blades on each side like this, and then if possible the other hover blades I prefer to mount in front and behind of that. So I'm actually going to change these prisms into inners. Then we'll have 2 hover blades on the front, 2 on the back like that. And that's our entire control mechanism. So now what we need to do is actually build a ring that goes all the way around the outside of these. I think we might actually be able to put, yeah, that's good. Something you can't do on higher tier hovers. Come on. There we go. So we got, if these gets destroyed, we've still got some shielding that goes around those ones there. And let's put some prisms here, prisms here. Now we're going to have, sorry, they're tetras, not prisms. So we got a shroud that now runs around that one. We're going to put a shroud around these ones as well. So these can be prisms as well. Okay, use tetras here. And I'm not concerned about protecting the hovers from the top because you won't see that many flyers at tier 2. I mean, you may get some people experimenting with down tiering various flyer designs, but to be honest, it's not something you should really need to worry about. Let's swap those to they're actually connected like this because we're actually going to connect through to here. And we also need to start thinking about exactly where our weapons are going to be mounted. So we are going to be using plasma on this, although SMG actually will work a little bit better, but just for the sake of demonstration I'll mount plasmas on here. And of course, let's not forget about putting the electro plates. So we've got those ones here. And let's check to see what electro plates we actually have. I'm probably going to need to buy a bunch of these because I haven't used low tier electro plates for a while. I certainly don't need 20 of each, but that's how many I'm buying. So essentially what we're going to do, we can't have like a seamless connection without doing some weird offsetting. So we'll have electro plates mounted on the front like this. We're going to have some inverted mounted on the side. Actually, what else can we do for like a seamless style design? Actually, okay, I've got a better idea. Let's change this out a little bit. We're going to kind of have some weird connection points here for a little bit. We'll have bottom electro plates and top electro plates like so. And we'll also do a similar thing on the sides here. And these blocks are going to be a little bit vulnerable, but we're not so worried about that so much. And then on the back we'll have some electro plates as well. So let's get the rest of these blocks in place first. That's right, we're going to want to have prisms like so. And then if we decide to echo the same design on the back, we'd have electro plates here, and then we'd have a bottom rung of electro plates as well. So let's just make sure we've got those here. There we go. The only issue with this is we're actually getting dangerously close to... Oh, what did I just delete? Anyway, we're getting dangerously close to tier 3 and we don't want to go to tier 3, so let's remove these top ones because the other thing with electroplates, they also do add a fair amount of mass to your design. So yeah, we're going to dump those top electroplates there, and because the connection point to these are actually quite vulnerable, we're actually going to try and move these ones back. And now we could either have them mounted underneath like that, which that will work, and it will provide a little bit of shielding there. And then let's replace these back again with prisms. Because, to be honest, most people are going to be shooting you from slightly below in terms of ground vehicles, so it's more important to have the armoring around these sections. Let's just pull these off. And we want electro paper there. And on the sides we're just going to add some more armoring reinforcement. And then through the center here, it'll be, I mean, there's a few things we could do potentially. What we're going to do is add some ablative armoring like that. And make sure the front is kind of armored in a similar fashion. We'll leave that as is. And these can be now converted into prisms. And now we just got to work out where we want to actually mount our guns. So let's think on that. Given that the majority of fire is going to be coming, or the majority of our enemies are actually going to be kind of underneath us, we'll probably want to make sure our guns are mounted in a fashion that ensures we can shoot them. So the guns would be better mounted underneath the design instead of on top. So let's get some T2 plasmas. Come on, where are my plasmas? Oh no, it's T3 plasmas. Oops, I thought you could get them at T2. Huh, that sucks. Alright, so we're not going to use plasmas, we're just going to use T2 guns. My bad. Is that just because I didn't buy any? No, it is. I'm just being a little bit of a nonce there. Okay, so yeah, T2 SMGs. That changes things a little bit. So 1, 2. The problem with that is that if we're facing straight on, then this one's going to get blocked. And we want to make sure we've got a little bit of extra spacing for the guns that are mounted underneath this design anyway. So we're going to want to make sure that we try and keep 3 blocks between the mount points if possible. So we got the front guns here. We got this gun here. We're going to mount some more guns underneath this section here. Actually, I want to mount them like so. I just deleted something. Oh, it's only that block. No big deal. We'll mount another gun back here, even though down the line this gun will probably end up coming off the design. And then we want to make sure that we've got these blocks mounted on correctly. So these now have no connection points. Let's just invert that block there so it connects through like so. And then we want to have the connection points for the guns at the back. That means put in prisms here. Now the down point with this is we have no fire, no weapons that can actually fire above. But that's not really such a huge issue with this particular design because again in tier 2 we're not expecting to meet that many flyers. So let's just check it. Yep, we're still tier 2 just about. It's 538 CPU, which this may mean it's a little bit above what some people can manage. But for that, you just have to take off some of the electro plates, and that'll easily cut down the amount of CPU that it costs. So let's see how it actually works in practice. And it is a pretty big vehicle. There we go. Now it's a little bit slow compared to the speeder or the cruiser, but what we are going to rely on is actually rotating to distribute damage around the electro plates. Let's make sure we spot. So we're getting some fire coming in from the side.
SMG.
Of course, rails are going to have a fun time trying to hit this. Let's go around to the side. Let's go and defend our cap. Hopefully I can get to a point where I can break the cap in time. No, too slow. But 5 kills still. So what else can we do to upgrade this? Now, one of the down points with this particular variant is that it's kind of slowish, and at this point you should already be able to get some thrusters. So let's go and grab some tier 2 thrusters. You'll probably have tier 1s, but tier 2s are a lot more effective. And what we're going to do is find some spaces in the design here, like here, where we can actually mount these thrusters on. Now that's going to immediately over tier us. So to make up for that, we could on this particular one lose those rear electro plates, and that actually gives us a lot more CPU to play with. And I might want to put some thrusters there, or I might want to... Wait a minute, why would I... Yeah. Let's put some prisms in there and put some more thrusters on the back. Now the down point with having most of your thrust behind the pilot seat is that it will cause your robot to wiggle a little bit when you're trying to thrust forward. So you do have to watch out for that and just make sure that, well, not wiggle, fishtail. So when you try to move forward, the rear of your bot will try to overtake the front of your bot. It's kind of weird, but yeah, you just want to make sure that you're accounting for that when you're moving. Let's change these in. Let's try and actually move these guns in a little bit because I don't like them being so far back now that we've lost those rear electroplates. And I'm going to change these blocks here into inners. And notice that I'm actually avoiding using standard blocks where possible. There's no point, they just add additional mass to your design. So move those in a little bit so they're close to the center of mass. It'll make it a little bit more stable as well. And let's go back and let's just check. Yep, we're still tier 2, and let's go back and battle. But yeah, for a tier 2, you're going to be a while until you actually get enough CPU to build something like this. So simplest ways to reduce that CPU load are you can have a fewer guns on it. You need to have a minimum of 6 though, so you probably want to stick with having the same number of guns that I've actually got on here at the moment. But certainly you can do away with thrusters. Cutting the thrusters out here will drop your CPU down to 492, and getting rid of the rear electroplates here will drop your CPU down to 444, which means that you can basically build this straight off without really needing to level up. As you level up, these are the obvious upgrades that you'll want to add on to this particular design. So let's put these thrusters back on and see what kind of difference it actually makes. Yay, no, boss battle. And of course, the most important thing with Hovercraft, make sure most of your blocks are below the hover blades, because if you try and put stuff over the top of the hover blades, you're gonna keep tumbling over. They'll do something called wallowing. It'll just, yeah, it's not very pleasant. And oh great, they've got a flyer on the enemy team. So, and you'll see where it's obviously a lot faster now, just from having those thrusters in the rear. Now the caveat is that this fishtailing type thing, you will kind of drift a lot more when you're turning corners because of where the thrusters are. Now for me to be able to even attempt to shoot the plasma bomber, I'm going to need to be upside down, which my design is actually not meant for. Ah, there we go. I'm upside down now, so I can actually shoot the flyer. I'd like to say this was purposeful, but it wasn't. Boom. But anyway, so yeah, this is the basic version of this design, and obviously the upgrades would be to start putting higher tier guns on it, which will immediately tier you up to tier 3. Let's and these are already spaced so that you can put the tier 3 guns on it without having to worry about redesigning the entire thing. Let's buy some more tier 3 guns because I don't have enough. And of course in tier 3 you're going to start encountering more actual flying bots. So there we go, that's the tier 3 variant, and let's go and give it a test, just see how it runs in tier 3. Yeah, we got a flying rail there. One on each team, cool. Still a lot of SMGs though. Not so many people using plasmas, which is a good thing to switch to plasmas early on, because a lot of people just don't know how to build to defend against them. So it looks like we've got some enemies coming up around there. And I've lost a hover blade, but I'm still effective, so all is not lost for me. And I could go and chase down those other two players, but at this point in the game it's not worth it, because by the time I find them, the game will already be capped. So I'm just going to head back to the cap, and yeah, that's it. It's an effective design at tier 3 as well. Oh, there we've got a railer up there. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and I'm actually going to cut the stream there for now as well, so don't forget to check me out on youtube.com/Robocraft Bay1, or you can just go to robocraftbay01.com and it'll send you over to my YouTube channel. So anyway, thank you very much for watching.